it's Loren Lockman from the Tanglewood Wellness Center, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about cancer today from the context of, is this something we need to be afraid of? We live in a world today where cancer is the number 2 cause of death in most developed countries, and probably increasingly so in undeveloped, lesser developed countries as well, like here in Costa Rica. This is true. And so it's, for most people, it would be inconceivable to imagine that it would be something that we shouldn't be afraid of. It's a terrible disease. It can be a very painful situation, and it affects a lot of people. Is there anyone here that doesn't know someone who's been affected by cancer? Probably everyone does. I mean, because I work with people who are sick and want to get well, I've worked with dozens and dozens of people and have known many others personally. I'm old enough now, I mean, just turned 53 2 days ago, that I've lost friends to cancer. I've had people my own age die of cancer. And it's a sad thing. But I don't think it's something we need to be afraid of. First of all, I don't believe in ever living from a place of fear. I don't think it's useful. I believe it creates disease. It actually causes problems. And so, the Serenity Prayer says, I'll have to paraphrase. Does anyone know it offhand exactly? No. It says something like, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And this is really important. We were talking about sleep earlier. I would encourage you guys to give yourself the rest that your body needs and forget about sleep. Because you have control over whether you rest or not. You don't have control whether you fall asleep or not. Okay? So we want to understand that we don't need to walk around being afraid of things. What we might want to do is make the choices that make sense to give us the best chance of being as healthy as possible. I remember years ago, I was in Panama. I was visiting a friend's organic farm, and a woman came up, a couple came up, and one of them was smoking. And I was talking to a woman I know there who was a psychologist, and she said, I said to her out loud, I can't believe people still smoke. With everything we know about cigarettes and cancer, etc., I can't believe people still smoke. And she said, she wants to die. I said, really? She said, at some level of her being, she wants. I mean, people who are doing things they know are likely to develop, these serious diseases. At some level, they really don't want to be around. Now that may or may not be true, but what you want to understand is that if you're currently making choices that are likely to end up in developing cancer or some other condition, you could just wait and then deal with the aftermath, which is never fun or pleasant, or you could make the choices you need to make now to ensure that you take your health from wherever it is to wherever it could be, which is an incredibly high level of health and vitality. I mean, everyone can experience an amazing level of health and vitality. The question is, are you making the choices you need to make? And, cancer is an interesting thing because there are theories about it, lots of theories. I don't know if there's any accepted understanding of why it develops and what it really is, but there are many theories. And it's something people are very scared about. But one thing you want to understand is that every single human body, it's said, has cancer cells developing every single day. Well, so maybe we should all be terrified, petrified. I don't think so. Because the fact is that most of us are not going to develop cancer, a cancer problem. We have cancer cells, but we're not going to wind up having a real disease. Why not? Because a well enough functioning immune system is able to identify and destroy those cells before they cause a problem. So, and it's interesting because more and more you see people talking about advocating consuming things for their anti-cancer nutrients. Eat these substances because they're anti-cancer. Well, there's an unspoken paradigm. There's an unspoken belief there that reflects a paradigm that most people don't even know they're walking around with. But it's the conventional paradigm. That conventional paradigm is that you will have a major disease. That's the paradigm. The paradigm is that disease is inevitable, and you're going to get it unless you take very specific steps not to, and then you might still get it anyway. I mean, I've had people say to me, I've had people comment on some of my videos where I'm talking about what an optimal diet is or the benefits of fasting, and they say to me, well, you're still going to die of cancer or heart disease. I don't think so. Okay? I don't think it's possible to develop cancer or heart disease in a clean, well-functioning, properly balanced system. We're not unlucky one day. You don't wake up on the wrong side of the bed and get cancer. And although you've heard this over and over again, people say, yeah, that person developed cancer and they were perfectly healthy. It doesn't happen, okay? It's not an accident. It's not just bad luck. We create these conditions, these chronic diseases over the course of 10 or 20 or 30 years. So no one wakes up and all of a sudden they have cancer where it wasn't there before. It's taken them a while to develop this. They're making poor choices. And they may not realize they're making poor choices. I mean, what time is it? It's 10 minutes to 1, which means it's almost noon in California. It's lunchtime across much of the U.S. right now. There are probably millions of people who wanted to be healthy. And they're going into places like Whole Foods, and they're buying prepared meals that they believe are healthy, and they're still going to wind up getting sick. Okay? Because if they're eating a bunch of processed food, they think that because they're buying it from a health food store, they think it's healthy food. But processed food is garbage. Okay? I said it, right? It doesn't matter if it's vegan, it doesn't matter if it's vegetarian, it doesn't matter. Processed food is largely, most of the nutrients have been destroyed, you've created toxins in cooking and processing it, you've oxidized things. Healthy food is the food that grows in nature before you process it. So the people who think that they're doing their body a favor by consuming these things are just as likely to develop disease as the people who know that that's not really healthy, but they're going to eat it anyway. Ignorance of the law doesn't help you. And the fact is that the best we can do is to educate ourselves, give the body a chance to cleanse and heal itself, and then make the best choices on a consistent basis. And it doesn't mean that it has to be perfect all the time. Okay? You can make exceptions from time to time. It's simply that, you may want to decide whether you want to or not, because how many of you have already noticed that it's hard to make an exception once in a while? That when you make that exception, your body says, oh, it's typically stuff that's addictive, and your body says, give me more of that. So, you don't use heroin once, okay? And you might be wise to think about cooked and processed foods as if they were heroin, except worse. Because you can't go around shooting up heroin in public and be socially accepted. But everyone will accept your food habits because they're normal in what everyone else is doing. And they will have you develop cancer and heart disease. Okay, that is what's going to happen if you're eating a conventional diet. So understand that we don't need to be afraid of cancer. What we want to do instead is understand that cancer is natural, it's occurring all the time. But when our bodies are healthy and vibrant enough, it will never be a problem for us. So give your body a chance to cleanse and heal. Learn how to make the best choices possible to create an amazing level of health. And then relax and enjoy life. Okay? And that's all we really need to do. I hope that helps. Yeah? Good. Take care.